Well, hello, and welcome back. I'm AJ O'Neill. This is Beyond Code Live, where we code live. Oh, so this is a project that I've been working on called Bliss, which, as you can see, I've been making tons of drafts here. I need to actually turn them into real blog posts, but at least I've kind of almost made this now my replacement for Apple Notes. Anyway, um, had a lot of other stuff going on tonight, so I'm going to make this a shorter one, fingers crossed. The first line become the title automatically, and then when we put it back into the content, we put a pound in front of it, so it's suggesting to the user, hey, your first line is your title. I am going to put it such that the second line is the description, and that it will begin with a quote character. So it'll be like this: title, description / summary. And then it'll go on. So I'm just going to figure out a way to parse that out and make it work. And then we can get rid of this little bit right here. So I'm just trying to make it, again, single form, easy. Anyway, that said, let me go check over here. When I'm looking over here, I am looking towards the comments. Let's see. I have to adjust my monitor, actually, because I'm standing up tonight. So I got the comments up on Twitch. Let me just move this a little bit. There we are. And now I also have the comments up on the YouTube. So if you're watching either on Twitch or on YouTube, when I look over here, I am checking to see your comments. So feel free to leave them. Okay, there we go. That's a little bit better. And voila. Okay, cool. So it's been a while since I've been in this code base, probably 2 or 3 weeks, I think. So let's see if I can remember what I do here. Just got one file, app.js. And sorry, I'm a little lower on energy tonight, but I wanted to get a stream in, so I'm doing it to do it. Let's see, where's the part where I parse the title? Oh, look, parse title. And then I already have a parse description. I just kind of need to figure out kind of a better way to do it. So more than description is the content slice 0 to 152. I think I want to do this as well, where we say, what shall we do? So we're going to take post.content, split on new lines, but we don't want to return the first line. Also, this one could do a little bit better, because we could say text.trim on that, just in case it starts with an empty line, which is something I hadn't really tested for. Likewise, I think if we split here, we could then filter Boolean, and then we could get number 2, I suppose. So that would get rid of all of the empty lines. But what if we have empty lines with space? So I guess what we need to do instead is we would need to take the line and return line.trim. I think that should work. That should get rid of white space. So we would only get lines that have something, filter spaces, new lines, etc. All right. Now, with this one, let's see. Kind of going to do a similar thing here. So we don't want title. This is going to be description. But then we are going to limit it further. So our description, we don't want it to be more than 152 lines. And the reason for that number, I think I put it somewhere in here. Let me see if I hate it when I forget to document magic numbers. 152 is the max recommended length for meta description. That's why we use 152, and I should probably document that by this. Max meta desc len equals 152. There we go. And now we know why it's 152. Yeah, magic numbers are bad. Magic numbers is what we call it when you type out a number because you know what it means, but not necessarily anybody else knows what it means. And it doesn't have a comment or it's not given a name. This is kind of interesting. Once I was working with a system where it did a lot of geometry, and there was a number that was really close to pi. It looked like it was pi with a typo. And so I fixed it and I made it pi because I thought, here's this strange number and it looks like it's supposed to be pi and there's no documentation as to what the number's doing there. It turned out that it was a correction it was essentially an augmented reality system, and it was a correction for some noise in the system. And the noise in the system just happened to come out to be about that number, but it had to do with radio frequency stuff. It was just randomly happened to be that number. Anyway, so we've got, what are we doing here? Description's too long. Let's just call this desk for now. I'll make it a little easier for me, and then we'll call it description later on. So, and it's not really about whether it includes. It's more after we trim it, does it start with? So I kind of want to say, same thing with this one. If title includes, yeah, I think it's more like starts with. Title.trim. There we go. If title.trim starts with, then we don't need to do any of this splitting. Then we just need to get rid of, well, I guess it's any number of those, because it could technically be pound, pound, or pound, pound, pound. So maybe it just needs to be replace this like that, maybe. And then we don't really need global, so maybe I won't put global there. And then we just trim again. Or maybe we wouldn't need to trim in this particular case. We'll have to see what that looks like. But I think this is actually closer to the behavior that we want. I think I was being a little lazy when I wrote that. Let me try this out real quick. Let's go into Node here. Let's see, we got anybody? Oh, hey. Perfect use case for const. I'm open to using const in the case of a true constant, but I actually missed your comment at the time that you said it, so I don't know what you are referring to. So tell me what you were referring to is actually a good case for const. But let's see here. Let's say that my title is /n/int space 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 number 1 title, number 2 article. Let's say that's the title of our article there. And then some new lines. So I'll actually put this in as an example. I like to do this. I think this is a good practice when you're using regular expressions, is essentially, let's see. No, we wouldn't want to get rid of any amount of, we'd want to get rid of any number of those. And we'd want to also get rid of any amount of space. Let's see. We want to get rid of any leading pounds and any leading space. That's what we'd want to get rid of. Yes. Okay. So then let's say I apply that to this. We're going to do text trim split 0, and then let's put some other stuff in here. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. So let's see what we get out if we put this in. Oh, yeah. No, I agree. So const, yes, for the meta description max len. Although that's kind of long. But no, I agree. That's an appropriate use case for const. It actually is a constant. Yes, agreed. Let me see. Anybody else coming in? So hello to anybody that's coming in. Feel free to tell me where you're from, what you do, all that. This one's probably, I'm hoping this one's going to be a short one tonight. We'll see. I think I'm just going to basically be editing this one function. I think that's all I'm going to do because I'm tired. And then even if there's a bug in it, I'll just whip it and then work through it maybe tomorrow. Okay. So we got that. And yeah, I wanted to see, well, what happens if we do all of this? So this should get our article. It's a little bit malformed. And really, I want to replace any extra spaces. I don't want to deal with that. I kind of want to replace any extra spaces with just one space, but I also kind of don't want to bother myself. Okay, so then let's do this. Looks good. That's right. That's correct. Interesting, though. We could trim that again. Trim the text, split the text, trim the text that we split. It is not possible for a string to ever have an index 0 be nothing. Okay, so that's cool. All right, I like that. And then let's see here. We're doing the same split that we did above. I'll do it. I'll use const. I'm actually coming down to thinking that const and var are all you need, and that let is too complex. It has too many edge cases. If you use const as a constant, you won't run into any of the weird edge cases. And if you use var and you have a linter, then you also won't run into any problems of let. So I'm just going to put that up there. Boom. A true constant. Looks kind of weird, but we'll go with it. Let's see. All right, so what was I going to do? I don't really want to split on that. Again, this should be starts with. After I trim it. So each line is going to be trimmed. I'm going to take that line. That should already be trimmed. So it's going to start with this. And I'm going to get rid of the first character and then trim it. And that should be description. Yeah. And then we should take the description, and I'm not going to do, I'll do it this way. So if it doesn't start with the blah, this is what we'll do. Then we'll create description. I got to think about this a little bit too. So if it doesn't start with that, then we're going to take whatever it is and I guess in the one case we want to, this one's a little tough. I got to think about this. Let me. This is where we want to do this, I think. Okay. So what's tough about this one is when we have the description, we want to keep the description down to 152 characters, but let's say that I'm doing something like this. This is the first line of my post. This is the second line. So what we want to do is, if it begins like that, we're going to treat it exactly. We're not going to futz with it at all. If it begins like this, then we're actually just going to copy it like that. And this gets a little bit more complicated because if this was the same as the truncated version of this, then we should, as this gets longer, this is the first line of my post, it's great, then this one should also get longer. I don't even know if that could work because of the way the content editor would be working. Although this brings up another point, which is that I'd like to get Monaco in here, and I found out how to do that. I don't remember where I put it. It's probably in here somewhere. Let's see if we've got Monaco. I don't know. I figured out how to do it. I put it somewhere. Might be on my other computer. Anyway, let me check comments here and see what we got. Okay. Write your own preprocessor. I got a finger for you. Guess which one it is. Can you guess? Yeah, you can. I think the issue people run into with var is that it gets hoisted. I don't think that's an issue. I mean, again, the idea that people would program in a text editor just blows my ever-flipping mind. You should not be programming without tools. That's stupid. It's literally stupid. I can't imagine a situation in which that would be an appropriate thing to do. There's too few and far between. You should always have some sort of code editor that's going to have your plugins for your linter and your formatter. That's maybe stupid isn't the right word. It might be stupid or it might be ignorant. We'd have to conduct greater research to tell. In any case, this is wrong right here. The way that this is working right now, that's absolutely 100% definitely wrong. So let me go take this. Let's see. I gotta open this thing up locally in just a second. So if it starts with it, we're going to keep it the way it is. Yeah, this one gets a little tricksy. I think. I don't know. Well, here's one thing that I do know we need to do. Where we've got our title, Placeholder, magnificent title. There we go. My first, a wonderful but short summary There we go. All right, so I do want to do that. Let's see. Short summary tagline for meta description goes here. Okay. I think I can think of a way to do this. Summary tagline for meta description here. There we go. So update the example people see, and then update the way this thing works. I'm going to take the length and what are you going to do? Okay, so this actually only applies in the other case here. And in any case, whether I do the parsing the way that I was thinking or not, it definitely needs to not be parsing the way that it was. It needs to be taking a line, not the next 3 or 4 lines. And ideally, this should either start with a hyphen or caret. Either it should start with a greater than caret, or it should start with text. If it starts with a hyphen or something like that, the problem there is that that may be a link or some other sort of syntax. So, you know, like, well, we'll see. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know how to update it in a way that will make sense. Maybe I shouldn't make this change right now. Well, I want it for me, so I do want to make it right now. Parse description. If not post dirty description. Oh, goodness. Yeah. Maybe that's enough for now. I think that's going to be enough for now. That it does me a little bit better. It's not quite what I want it to be, but it at least fixes the bug. And yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at this. Let's say open the tiredness. Okay. All right, so that's looking good. Let's go ahead, just go over here. Oh, excuse me. All right, so there is something wrong. It's not working. Let's see what we get here. Because what I expect to see is that when I paste this in, that I should get the summary down here. Instead, I got starts with undefined. Okay, so let's go take a look at that. Let's see if I can figure out in my sleepy state what I did wrong. All right. We had a desk dot starts with, and this actually, because I'm filtering out everything, and the first line is should be guaranteeable as the title. And then that means 1 is the second line. All right, did I do this right? Filter. Yeah. Looks right. Starts with. So in the least place, it should be an empty string. That shouldn't happen though. Let me think about that. Post.content. I don't know. I don't know what in what case that could happen that way. Interesting. That all came back. Okay, this is the first line of my post. It's great. So I got something that I'm doing wrong here, because if it starts with this, else we don't need to get rid of the first one. But we should have ended up in this condition of starts with, shouldn't we? This is the first line of my post. This is the first line of my post. This is the first line of my post. Okay. So maybe what we're saying here is that by the time it gets post.content, the title may already be stripped out of the content. Let me go ahead and just console.log what we get for post at this point. Debug. Let's see here. Oh, and I lost my comments. Okay, now I've got them back up again. All right. So we're going to put a little debug there. A little debug that could. I think that might be what's happening. All right. So we're going to refresh this. And then let's paste and let's see what we get. This is the first line of my post. It's great. Interesting. So let's go take a look at what we're console.logging. So at this point, it is parsing out the title. So we are getting content. So this is what I want. What I want to get to the point of is that we nix the summary from the content and we treat it just like we treat the title. I wonder if there's a way I can get there quickly so that I can go to bed. Let's see. All right. So content at this point. Note, content has had the title stripped by now. All right. Let's see, parse title. How is parse title used? Okay. It's given the text. So let's say that we want to so text.trim, first of all, okay, that's going to be an area where there could be some bugs. So let's do post.description is equal to, well, wait, isn't that already in here somewhere? Description, description equals. Yeah, we're doing all that checkity check McChecking right there. So the description can come from the post. How do I get the content to be treated similarly to the way the title is treated? Because really, I only want to strip out the description from the content if it begins with the caret. Otherwise, I don't want to strip it out. Yep, have a good night. Thanks. Sedok says he's got to head out. Seems like there's a bash joke in there somewhere. Okay. Again, I think we need to look at the content. And we need to let's see, let's go with lines. Let's do var lines equals, and then let's not slice and join and all that. And then let's say post.content equals lines.slice and join and all that. But we'll just do lines here. Okay. So now we haven't changed the functionality at all. We gotta be careful here. All right, so we get the lines, and then we get the content, and then let's get the lines again. So sans title here, or maybe I shouldn't say sans. All right, so that's without the title. We've got the lines. And this trim should alleviate excess new lines. That should have been alleviated already. Yeah. So we shouldn't need that at this point. Let's see, where have we got text? Where's text coming in from? Text. It's coming in right there. How about we just trim that right there? So at that point, yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Let's trim it right out of the gate. And then we don't need to have the trim there. And we do want to put the trim there. But then we don't need the trim here. So we trim after, not before. That's the pattern that we're going to go with. So now we have the lines without the title. And what we want to do is see, is this next line a description? So if lines 0 dot starts with okay, we've trimmed. Now another potential problem with this is we could have what if it starts with I don't believe in white space code blocks. Yeah, this is good. So if it starts with this, and then we also, I'm gonna put a to-do. To-do starts with alphabeticals. Because what we don't want is to try to turn a list or a link or a code block we don't want to turn that into a description. But I'm okay. We need to get rid of white space code blocks. Bad idea. Let's get rid of it. Be done with it. Don't need to worry about it, especially not for my use case of my own blog. I always use proper code fences with either a language or TXT if I don't want it syntax checked. Or not syntax checked, but syntax highlighted. All right, anyway, so we've got this. If that starts with this, then desk is equal to, so now we actually are parsing out the description right here. Let's see about that. And we're not going to trim. Don't trim this time. Okay, so otherwise, let's see. Post.description. So yeah, I guess that's really simple. So if it starts with that, so basically I'm pulling the parsing logic here for the title. I mean for the content, for the description, blah 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 blah. Brain, foggy brain. Okay, and then otherwise, we're going to do all this stuff. Okay, so to do, check that it starts with alpha. Yeah. I don't know. Really not clear on what to do here. Because I feel like where am I defining title? I don't know. It's just kind of weird. I basically need to say set some rules for what the next line is going to be. So let's say, oh darn, I feel like this is too complex for me to deal with right now in my sleepy state, you know? I might just have to whip this and come back to it. Or just not whip it. So Yeah, now we've got orders of precedence as well. So the precedence is that let's see. It looks like in any case, we want to take that line. It's just if it starts with this, we want to change the content. Okay, let me back this out. Let me try to explain what I'm thinking here. So if line 0 starts with the quote, then we're going to say, by quote, I mean markdown quote, the greater than sign. So if it starts with the quote, we're going to assume that that is the summary, which means that we can slice this line out. Otherwise, we're going to take the content is going to be what it already was. Let's see. Yeah. So otherwise, no change. Then we're going to get the description. We're going to check to see if input description and post.description. Gosh. So this is all kind of true. I do just kind of want to throw this in an else for right now. And then let's say input, description, text area. Yeah, it looks like we could just kind of go with that. I think this is going to work. So basically it's old way. So we got new way and old way. And the new way is that we ignore whatever is in the description box. The new way is we ignore whatever's in the description box if the line after the title starts with a quote. And the old way is we do the old logic. And then I don't actually need to update any of the stuff in the parse description. Let's see how this pans out. All right, so here we are. So I go and change this. Interesting. Interesting. All right, so I think what I need to do here is change this to post.description to make that live update. So let's go take a look at this here. All right, yeah, I think that's working out. Nothing's happening there. Okay. So this should update that. It's not updating that. Why? Let's see here. Well, first let's make sure there's not an error. Doesn't seem to be any error. Console.log. We can get rid of this debug. And actually, I could just have this go back to the way that it was before. So what's going on at this point? Serialize. So we want to serialize. if line 0 starts with this, then we should be updating that. So console.log debug starts with bump. So we set the precedence here. Do we have any? No? Huh. All right, let's redo this. Interesting. Very first line of my post. Is this changing? No, it's not. So it's not calling into that change, which kind of makes sense because this is, no, this is serialized. This should be getting called, shouldn't it? Let's take a look. Serialize, yeah. Let's see what's getting updated down here. Very first line of my post. It's great. Interesting. Because what we should see down here is this should be disappearing. If serialize is being called, deserialize. Let me think about this a little bit more. So post dot serialize is called update. Update actually does call serialize is the first thing that it does. So why are we not getting to this point? Because this one, oh, that's why. Because at this point, we should be looking at text. There we go. Or post content. There we go. I think that's the ringer for us. So let's look at this. Refresh. Okay, what does that look like? I don't know why that has, okay, good. So we got rid of the extra one. That's working down there. That's working there. This is working here. Okay, so now this is correctly parsing. So what if we get rid of this one? And okay, so we want to do something where we get rid of new lines, but not necessarily white space. So I want to trim new lines, not necessarily white space. Don't trim this time. So, but what I do want to do is replace begins with either of these any number of times. Well, I guess let's just go ahead and make that plus because it doesn't need to do the replace unless it's got something to replace. Okay, so let's take a look at this again. Yeah, because that's adding a bunch of white space there. And again, I'm a little bit overthinking this because I don't need it. Yagni and all that. because this is for me. So, I mean, I want it to be useful for other people, but primarily I just need to solve my own problem. This looks like it's working correctly. Now the question is, what if I get rid of this? Okay, then it's just going to take the first line for whatever it is. Cool. All right. I think that fixes the bug and solves my immediate problem. So I'm going to take a look at this. What I do wish that I had done differently is I wish that I had left the parse description function alone, and I might go back and tidy it up just a touch, because let's get rid of those debugs, of course. Console.log, yeah. And then parse description. So this I could have pretty much left alone, because it's never going to have this starts with case. So we can take that one out of there. And won't be called if the description was indicated with bump. All right. So what have we got now? We're not going to change the content, right? We're just going to look at it, see if we can get a description out of it. Yeah. Cool. I'm down with that. I think it's good enough. And we don't have the description reversing. Let's see. Yeah, all right. I think this is good enough. Get add index get diff cached dubs. Okay, that's correct. That is correct. That is correct. That is correct. Comments are kind of stupid, but yeah, that's correct. And then what's this? Is this just some white space change that happened? Oh, we changed how we parse the title. We fixed bugs. Yeah, all right, cool. So this would be feature parse descriptions that start from content that starts. This is feature plus bug fix. Boom. Feel good about it. I'm going to go ahead and push it. That way it works for me tomorrow. And there we are. All right. Well, another one down. Thanks for joining in. Remember, if you like what you like, you get more of what you like. So if you enjoyed watching along, go ahead and give it a big fat thumbs up. Otherwise, give it a thumbs down and leave. Don't need ya. All right. Well, with all that, my brain's tired. I'm ready to go. I got to peace out. So, to all of you, have the best night ever. Adios.